Today, we're going to talk about the verb jugar. We're going to talk about los juegos. We're going to talk about un partido, a little bit more about the verb tocar, etc. Big vocabulary lesson coming up. Hey everybody, it's Daniel. Welcome back to my sofa in beautiful Barcelona. Today, the topic is vocabulary for sports and games. I've got a good vocabulary list here and we're going to get to it. The last couple of weeks we've been talking about the verb tocar, which can be touch, but it could also be play. We'll get to that a little bit later. First, jugar. Jugar is to play, the verb to play. We use jugar with games and with sports. So let's just do a little bit of vocabulary about jugar, then we'll talk about the conjugation. You could say jugar al ajedrez. This is play chess. Jugar al ajedrez. You could say jugar al basket. Jugar al basket. This is basketball, obviously. The word baloncesto is also used in Spanish, but basket is, I think, a bit more common, at least here in Spain. Jugar al béisbol. The names of these sports are just kind of, words from English that have been translated a little bit into Spanish. Jugar al béisbol. This is not popular in Spain, but it is more popular in Latin America. Jugar al fútbol. Play football. Jugar al fútbol. And then we have jugar a la pelota. This is like two kids kicking around a football, basically. It could be any ball type game, but when I've heard it here in Spain, they were talking about two kids. They're not like playing football per se, but they are kicking around a football. They're just playing with a ball. I said two kids. It could be 10 kids. It doesn't matter. We're just not talking about an official football game. So this is the verb jugar. Jugar is similar to a lot of other verbs. We've talked about the verb poder, for example, where the O changes to UE. There's also some verbs where the U changes to UE in the conjugation for the present. So jugar is yo juego, tú juegas, él o ella juega, nosotros jugamos, vosotros jugáis. Those two don't change the U to UE. Those two just keep the U and move forward. And finally, we have ellos juegan. So that's the conjugation in present. That's the verb jugar. So you could say juego al fútbol 3 veces por semana. I play football 3 times per week. Juego al fútbol 3 veces por semana. You could say, mi padre juega al ajedrez en su ordenador. My dad plays chess on his computer. Mi padre juega al ajedrez en su ordenador. The word computadora is in Latin American Spanish. Here in Spain, we say ordenador. We have a few more types of game. We have un juego de cartas. Un juego de cartas is a card game. So you could also say jugar a las cartas. That would be to play cards. You could say jugar al póker. I think póker in Spanish is often spelled with a Q-U-E. The K is not a real letter in Spanish. So if we need that sound, we use a Q-U-E. You could informally spell poker with a K, but a lot of the K words that come from English have a Q option for formal Spanish spelling. We have un juego de mesa, which is a board game. Un juego de mesa. You could talk about el juego. El juego, if you don't say anything else, el juego is probably gambling. More specifically, we have juegos de azar. Juegos de azar are games of chance. Azar is sort of like luck. It's luck or chance. La suerte is generally what we call luck. But juegos de azar are, gambling games of chance, that kind of thing. Things you would do in a casino. Talking about all these types of juego, it's also important to talk about un partido because if we're talking about a football match or a football game, we would call it un partido de fútbol. In British English, they would say a football match. In American English, a football game. And game, would lead to some confusion with other types of game. But yeah, un partido de fútbol, un partido de basket, un partido de ajedrez. These are matches or games, but a single instance of playing. You play football for 90 minutes. That is un partido de fútbol. Talking about the word partido, we also have un partido político, which is completely different. Un partido político is a political party. I have a video about election vocabulary somewhere. I'll put a link, down below is more obvious if I put it down there. Un partido político, a political party. It's not a fiesta type party. It's a partido type party. Somewhat related, but I'm not sure how. Un partidazo. If you say Daniel es un partidazo, it's like Daniel is a good catch like on the dating market. I have no idea why we say this, but it's a word that is derived from partido, I guess. Partido, partidazo. The azo suffix means that something is like big and exciting. Talking about partido, we could talk about ganar un partido. This is to win a game or match. Ganar un partido. We could talk about perder un partido. You would say Barça ganó el partido anoche. O Barça perdió el partido anoche. Either way, this is to win a match, to lose a match. Perder is to lose. Ganar is to win. You could also say empatar. Empatar is to tie. The match ends with both teams having equal score. So empatar is to tie when we're talking about, scoring 2 points in a match and the other team also scores 2 points, that sort of tie. When we're talking about tying a knot in something or tying a tie, we would say atar. That's another verb. A lot of vocabulary here. So empatar to tie, atar to tie a knot in something. Finally, back to tocar, because I said tocar could also be play. When is tocar play? It is play when we're talking about musical instruments. Tocar la guitarra is play the guitar. Tocar el piano is play the piano. Tocar el teclado would be to play a keyboard. Teclado is another word you could learn. Tocar la flauta, to play the flute. We've got all kinds of musical instruments. I don't know that many people who play musical instruments out here, but, that's an option for the verb tocar. Here's another fun one. Let's talk about los Juegos Olímpicos. Los Juegos Olímpicos are the Olympic Games, the whole organized Olympics. However, it is interesting that in Spanish, if we're talking in plural and we want to abbreviate, we abbreviate using double letters. I can't even explain this coherently in English. The abbreviation for Juegos Olímpicos is JJOO. That's just how we do this in Spanish, JJOO. So there's another few examples of this that you're just going to see around if you're in Spain. Comisiones Obreras is a labor union. It is CCOO because, comisiones and obreras are both in plural. Oh yeah, here's one that's well known. Estados Unidos. EEUU. Estados Unidos. This is the United States, the country where I was born. We also have other ones that you see from time to time. If you work in a company, you have recursos humanos, which is human resources, RRHH, recursos humanos. They're just doubling the consonant or doubling the letter because, that represents the plural in the abbreviation. I don't think they do this in Latin American Spanish, but in Spain Spanish, that's what they do. Comunidades autónomas. the 17 comunidades autónomas in Spain, Catalunya, Valencia, La Rioja, País Vasco, etc., Galicia, Madrid, La Comunidad de Madrid, not the city of Madrid, but the Comunidad de Madrid. There's 17 comunidades autónomas, just like regions of Spain, states, we could say. And the abbreviation for comunidades autónomas is CCAA. So that's, as you can tell, I just love Spanish. That's a complete tangent that has nothing to do with anything. But yes, los Juegos Olímpicos, the Olympic Games, and the abbreviation JJOO is something you will see from time to time. Los Juegos del Hambre, the Hunger Games, a series of movies and possibly books. Los Juegos del Hambre. Oh, can't forget, los videojuegos, video games, if you're into that kind of thing. Videojuegos. So that's all I've got for today. I hope you have a great day wherever you are in the world. We are here on YouTube, Learn Spanish with Daniel. Also my podcast, Spain to Go, talks about real life in Spain. I've been here in Barcelona for about 7 years now. Before that, I was in Madrid for around 13 years. So I have been around for a while. I talk about, the realistic aspects of life in Spain. You could also go to expatmadrid.com/donate. Donate something to the channel. I appreciate it if you have, some extra money sitting around and you want to send a few bucks my way to help out with, me doing this instead of something else. I appreciate it. You can donate whatever you want from €3 on up. Anything is fine. That is expatmadrid.com/donate. The blog, expatmadrid.com, has a lot of exciting things, articles that often become podcasts as well. But if you prefer to read rather than listen to the podcast, that's an option. Y nada, espero que pases un muy buen día, estés donde estés en el mundo. I hope you have a great day wherever you are in the world. See you soon and hasta la próxima. Bye.